The Cocktail Art Challenge is here to showcase the art of making cocktails and the art of showmanship on stage, combining it into one to bring you an entire complete show. Are you ready?
Hey, I'm Dean Serneels, Cocktail Network Live, and I also have the luxury of representing Finest Call and Real, gourmet syrups, and of course, premium juices for all of your cocktail needs. So, we are here today at the Cocktail Art Challenge, which is a flair bartending-based cocktail competition. So the flair bartending is judged as well as the cocktail. A little different from before. As we progress into the future, making fabulous cocktails with flair, we're asking all the bartenders to be as creative as they can. And we have tasted these cocktails in the past by these competitors. Each one of them could be on a magazine, well, the bottle flipping, shaker spinning, glass tossing style, whatever it is that they're gonna do on stage to entertain us and make us wanna buy those drinks.
Hi, I'm Diana Green. I'm the Eastern Regional Director for Gonzalez Bias USA, representing Fundador Brandy, the original Brandy de Jerez, here at the Cocktail Art Challenge 2023 at the Beer Garden in Boca Raton. Tonight I get the pleasure of judging the actual cocktails. So we want a cocktail that comes out in a beautiful presentation with a great garnish, but most importantly, it has to be balanced. There has to be the right amount of citrus and sugar and alcohol in order to have a cocktail that's very enjoyable.
Hi, my name is Angel, and I'm here representing the oldest and the biggest bodega, the Brandy de Jerez in the world, which is Bodega Fundador, founded in 1730. I have to say, and incorporating as an ingredient such a famous brandy brand.
Hello, I'm Emily Taffel. I'm the marketing director for Yacht Life Vodka. Yacht Life Vodka is actually a Florida-based, American-made vodka made with only 2 ingredients, wheat and water. It is a proof that simplicity is a keystone of luxury, and we call this liquid luxury. It is a vodka that's 16 times distilled and then filtered, so it's an extremely pure, sophisticated vodka that has a little kick at the end, because as we like to say, what's the point of having a yacht if you're not ready to show off a little bit, right? It's slim, and a lot of the competitors are used to working with round bottles, so we can't wait to see some of the tricks they pull out with our bottle today, and to see some of the cocktails they come up with our vodka.
Hi, my name is Jules Aaron. I am a 5-time author, spirits writer, and the USBG Nationals Health and Wellness. I'm looking
South Florida brand ambassador for Tequila Patron. I'm here today to represent our super premium spirit, handmade, small batches without any use of additives. I'm super excited to support our community and see what they can do artistically with our super premium spirit. No additives, handmade, made in small batches. Tequila Patron coming to support all of you. Let's go.
Hi, I'm John Cow. I'll be on the panel judging the mixology portion of the competition. Tonight what we're looking for is not only proficiency with the flair bartenders, but also that they can compose a balanced cocktail that's creative, imaginative, and also drinkable and replicatable. More importantly, the things I'm going to be looking for is whether they honor the ingredients that are being featured in primarily the sponsored spirits.
Hi, good afternoon, my friends. My name is Manuel Picon. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I've been living in Miami for 10 years now. I got the pleasure to be invited today to be one of the technical judges for the flair aspect of the competition. This competition and overall every day behind the bar is very important, the quality of the cocktail. That's why the name of this competition is Cocktail Art Challenge. It's 50-50, your flair technique is very important, but also very important day to day and here in the competition is your cocktail, the presentation, the aroma, the garnish.
Hello guys, my name is Raul Guzman, or well known as Raul Bartender in social media. I've been living in Miami for over 6 years and originally from Venezuela. I'll be judging flair and I'm looking for creativity. Difficulty, of course, but it's more original moves and this is very hard to do it because flair industry has already like a solid base. I'm looking for that effect of wow and originality that is very hard to find.
And with that, partnering up with some great sponsors like Yacht Life Vodka, Plantation Rum, Patron Tequila, Fundador Brandy, Finest Call, and Reality Infused Exotics with barproducts.com, Rip Print, Cocktail Network Live, pretty much all the who's who in the area are here to shine and showcase the spirit and the fun of bartending again.
I'm Josh Kennedy. I'm from Seattle via Palm Beach Gardens, West Palm. Here winning this first place amateur division and this amazing competition that Rob put together. I love all the events that he does. I love just being here with the environment. I love the people. I love the art. I love making better bartenders now. I love just the whole environment, the whole look. I'm over here looking at all these bartenders down there just mingling and talking about the great competition we had tonight.
Mi nombre es Joseph Chavarría, vengo desde Nicaragua, Managua, y gracias a Dios me dio la oportunidad de quedar en el primer lugar en el Art Cocktail Challenge Boca Ratón 2023. Gracias a Rob, a Dave y a toda la organización por la oportunidad de estar aquí este día.
My name is Ivan Yusuf and I'm so excited to be here. Today I was tour and it's so cool because 1 year ago I also won this competition. I like about this competition because it's not only flair, it's also mixology and all bartenders, they have to make good drinks and flair bartenders also bartenders. Flair is a tool, so that's why you have to make good drink and if you can entertain your guests, if you can make some tricks, even better.
Hi, my name is Greta Bucelato. I'm the Vice President for the Palm Beach chapter of the United States Bartenders Guild. I'm super excited to be here for this event and I'm very happy to be behind the scenes. I hope you'll join us for the next one for all sorts of educational opportunities with our group, so thank you.
The Cocktail Art Challenge was created to be able to showcase bartenders making quality cocktails while entertaining on stage. Yes, it can be done at the same time, and these bartenders travel from across the globe just to show you how it's done.
Well, I think the idea of your show is amazing.
You put in all the work when people aren't watching.
Hey, thank you. I'm honored. Thank you for being so cool.
And that's it. Have fun.
So let's get into it.
Now let's get into it, indeed.
Hey, Dean, how you doing, buddy? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy post St. Patrick's Day. Hope you're doing well.
I'm still in the same green USBG shirt that I was in last night, so let me tell you, things are going well.
You're still wearing the same clothes from last night. That's a pretty good sign. Tell us about where you are. Where are you right now in those barrels and such?
A little change of scenery. No, I did not up the budget for my studio. I'm actually broadcasting live at Steel Tie Spirits for a special event. It's West Palm Beach's first distillery. They make some great vodka, some great rum, longtime supporters of USBG and our local events here. And since the last 3 weeks, I've taken on another job because I need more jobs, apparently.
Right.
And I'm in charge of the beverage program here and helping Ben out while he's going through some health issues and in and out of the hospital. So we got a lot of great stuff planned, a lot of good things, and happy to be here and doing this today.
Very kind of you. Very kind of you. What did you say earlier about a budget? There's a budget?
Oh, you didn't get the check. The check's in the mail, Dean.
I'm just hearing about this now. Awesome. Hey, we have got a big week coming up. But how was your last week? What trouble did you get into?
It's been a stressful week, to be honest with you. Between everything we got coming up with the broadcast for the competition, which we're going to get into this Wednesday.
Yeah, very excited about that.
From 1 to 5 p.m. Vegas time, we are broadcasting live the United States Bartenders Guild Shake It Up finals for their classic division. The top 5 bartenders from around the United States representing classic mixology and skills will be battling it out head-to-head to find out who moves on. First place is going to go to the IBA, the International Bartenders Association World Cocktail Championships, and second place is going to go to the IBA Pan American Games and represent America, Team USA, kicking ass like we do. And then, Dean, we're also going to have 2 flair demos, but more importantly, some anchors that are going to be there. Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah. We've got 2 anchors on the show. So excited about Real Cocktail Ingredients bringing us the live feed and being able to record all of those rounds so that we can have them immediately posted for the bartenders to celebrate. We'll talk about where you'll see those later. The anchors, I can't anchor on Wednesday because I will actually be at the Finest Call and Real booth at the show. So I will be chained to the bar there. Please come by and see me if you're in the convention. We'll have a drink together at the booth. But the anchors, as you requested, Cashborn, who is a longtime flair bartender, flair judge from back in the day, and owner of 2 cocktail bars in San Jose, high-end cocktail bars. He's got one of the first speakeasies that opened in San Jose, very dedicated to the craft. He's been a big part of the USBG over in California as well. And Manny Picon, who will also be there. And he's also doing a flair demo as well as anchoring the show for Cocktail Network Live. So a couple of brand new celebrity faces talking for us and covering for us. But who's going to MC that show, Rob?
That's a good question. The MCs of Shake It Up are going to be Marcella and myself emceeing the event, so it's going to be a blast. We went over what we're going to be doing back and forth, and she's got a theater background, much like most of us bartenders do. And with Joe Messina holding down the fort and doing the broadcast and taking care of the tech, I'm excited for what's in store.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so happy Joe's on board with us. You guys can't see Joe. He's working in the background today. But please put your hands together for Joe. He's helping to take this show and many more live broadcasts to your computer for bartending competitions all around the nation and maybe the world. Who knows?
We got a lot of invitations so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I
dude,
had a bunch of guests at the bar. What's that?
What have you been up to this week?
Oh, yeah. I had Buffalo Wild Wings was in town. We had a great little bartending contest with some of the bartenders from Buffalo Wild Wings at my bar at the ABM headquarters, or Finest Call Real headquarters. So we had a great time there. And just hosting, and I was just creating more cocktails for our Agalima and Master of Mixes TikTok and a photo shoot coming up. So just knocking out drinks left, right, and center. So it's I can't complain. It's not a bad gig.
I'm impressed, man. I don't know how you keep it together, but you do, and you always do with a smile.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thanks again for putting together that awesome video last week. I'm still kind of reeling about it, and very humbled about all the amazing people out there in the industry that have been supportive of us all the way along. So, but I'm getting kind of
amazing. Flair, the family of Flair is so intense. Like, yes, we compete against each other on stage, and we're the first up our back for each other. But you pick up a phone call, it's like no time has been lost. 5 years, 10 years, 2 days. Yeah. We're right on here. Everyone jumped in. Like, happy birthday, Dean. And how global and how connected everyone still is in this day and age is great.
Yeah, and it's not just the Flair, because there was a lot of mixology faces on there as well, and I love how all that's kind of blending together in this new generation of bartending. The community is just an amazing community to be a part of, and I love every single person in it. So
I guess that's true. You bring up a good point. It's not so much Flair, it's not so much mixology anymore. It's just bartending now, and that's what we've been trying to bring this.
Yeah, people are specializing a little, just picking their area to specialize in, but when they're done specializing in one area, they're going to end up in the other. So it's amazing. It's just amazing. It's a great ride. So, but I'm getting kind of thirsty, Rob. I think it's time. Are you ready?
I think I'm going first this time. I'm ready. I'm gonna pull it, do it Dean Serneels style.
All right, it's 1 minute mixology.
It's St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's Irish tonight.
Still waiting for that cat. There he is. Okay.
So you caught me doing hard. It's so difficult. You mean I can't just phone it in? You mean I got to do it for real? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do it for real. I'm not going to phone it in. All right, Joe. 1 minute mixology when you're ready, sir. For real this time.
Oh, I.
Since we're at Steel Tie Spirits, I have to do a cocktail with some of our local rums here. Right now I'm doing Black Coral Spice Rum, 2, 3, 4, 5, with some black rum, bubble 2. Throw that in there, and you know what? You love it. Coco Real, 1 ounce of that. So for me, that's 2 squirts. Every squirt's a ½ ounce once you get that perfected. We're going to use 2 drops of tiki bitters, and this cocktail is named Scuba Steve. We actually created this at Tiki Ona, a little tiki pop-up bar I used to do, after a bartender named Scuba Steve, who used to rep for Steel Tie Spirits and Black Coral. And it was his birthday. He was guest bartending, so he put it on the menu, and it was such a big hit. We had to keep it on the menu for years to come. So much of a hit that we had to bring it here to Steel Tie Spirits, where they put it on their menu. We're going to garnish that with a pineapple leaf, a lime wheel, and there you have the Scuba Steve with 2 seconds to spare.
Yay!
We had to have a little fun. Sorry, I called Joe ahead of time.
You know, I had to do that recording a few weeks back, and here I am paying for it yet again. I was even dancing the jig. You caught me dancing the jig to your Irish tune there.
I had to have some fun, buddy. But whenever you're ready, my friend.
All right, I'm doing a tribute to St. Patrick's Day, actually. A little Irish whiskey here. Let's see what happens. I'm ready. All right, I waited the 4 seconds in. Beautiful. Let's get some ice cubes in there. I need more. Ice is profit, as they say. Going a little proper 12 today. Sticking with our celebrity spirits angle on 1 minute mixology. And some praline liqueur. A lot of people like to add coffee liqueur to their espresso drinks. And Finest Call Master Mixes Espresso. So the Finest Call Espresso mix made with real coffee beans from Brazil. We'll shake that up. And yes, there's real caffeine in the Finest Call Espresso mix. It makes for a really beautiful froth and a tasty, tasty cocktail. There we go. 3 ingredients. Boom!
To the wire, you did it, buddy. Congrats.
Oh, this old thing? Yeah, no problem. Love you.
So
that's
tell me
beautiful.
about that glass you got there. That looks like a special kind of glass.
This is a new Cheryl Charming glass. Pardon me, wrong tube. It's a hollow stem martini glass. Apparently, they were big in the 1700s, 1800s. Cheryl, because she's an amazing researcher, and she went back and she found these glasses, and then she worked with Bar Products, and Bar Products made a whole bunch of these hollow stem glasses. So when you pour the drink in, it actually goes all the way down to the bottom and comes up. It's really, really neat. Very, very pretty glass, and a kind of a different presentation. It actually doesn't spill as easily as the big martini glasses. But you are holding the stem, so I guess you could technically warm the glass if you're big and nerdy about that worriness. But I'm not.
Nerdy about cocktails? Who, us?
There it is. That's pretty darn delicious for a 3-ingredient cocktail, I gotta tell you. This Finest Call already has the coffee and the sugar and everything else mixed into the espresso mix. So, but you already know that. You ready?
I'm ready. If without further ado, I know she's been waiting in the wings. Like Dean
said, she's been very patient waiting on us, and I'm super excited to have her back on the show.
We had her on a previous show. It was actually last season, season 4, the ending episode, with when she was on the show talking about Repeal Day for our Repeal Day episode. How much of an amazing job her and the USBG Tampa does of executing that amazing event, and it's probably one of the top. Give me 1 second. One of the top Repeal Day conferences in the United States. But now we brought her on for a different reason. She stepped up, moving her roles up within the USBG from a chapter president to a regional director to a new role, which we're about to find out. So without further ado, Miss Ingrid Shawn Rodriguez.
Woohoo!
Hey guys.
Welcome. Rob's running some work over there. Ingrid, how are you doing?
Doing well, guys. Love all the cocktails you guys made.
Thank you very much. Thank you. They're delicious. I have to ask you, what are you drinking?
Well, since you guys were going on the whole Irish theme, and in lieu of St. Patrick's Day being yesterday, I am drinking Limavady Irish whiskey. It is Whistle Pig's Irish whiskey.
That's from Whistle Pig. Can you tell me more about it?
Sure. It is 100% Irish single malt. It is made in the northeast corner of Ireland. Limavady is actually the name of the town. It means leap of the dog. Comes in at 92 proof, and it's aged in PX sherry casks. Absolutely delicious. The master distiller, Daryl McNally, is a super cool dude, relatively young, loves to hang out, but the whiskey that he's created is fantastic. Also makes a killer espresso martini. And I love that glass. That's a beautiful glass.
Isn't it cool? Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, you were on with us the last episode in 2022, if you can believe that. We had a year of getting regrouped and getting new studio space together and stuff. So catch us up quickly on where you've been with Whistle Pig and the USPG and stuff, as Rob talked about.
So I'll start with career-based. So I have been with WhistlePig now for almost 8 years. I am currently the Florida State Manager and one of their U.S. brand educators. So
Wow.
moving up in the world in that side and really just preaching the pig as much as I can all over the place. And then on the USPG side, so yes, I was the Tampa treasurer, I was the Tampa president, then I was the regional representative, then I was a national board member. I was once the vice president, the national treasurer, and for some reason in January of this year, they decided to make me the president of the United States Bartenders Guild,
Well,
which is
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Very proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. Wow, you have held almost every position there is, haven't you?
I've learned a lot. I've gained a lot of experience from every position. I came in as an enthusiast. Then over time, my bartending goes back to the 90s. Last time I bartended was in 09 at a beer bar. So I've done that, but I really joined the USPG as an enthusiast and had a very special skill set, which was why I was able to work with them for Repeal Day. And now we're going through some major transitions. So they brought me on with that skill set to be president. And now I work for Supplier. So it shows that the USPG actually opens up career avenues and pathways as well.
Correct. Yeah, amazingly. Rob and I are going to get into a little bit more about that stuff in a little bit. But just to get people caught up, if they're just learning about the United States Bartenders Guild now for the first time, can you tell us how a young bartender or a bartender today that's not involved with the USPG can get involved with the USPG?
There's really two ways. The easiest way, of course, is to go to uspg.org. That is our community website. And then look up where your closest chapter is and attend a chapter meeting. That way you can talk to people, or you can sign up right there and become a member. For active bartenders, it's about $125 to $150 depending on when you sign up. But another way is find a USPG member. There's probably already someone in your community. Talk to them, attend an event, really look into where it is. For the newbies that are coming in, what we're trying to do is create a community environment and give you access to tools to better your career. Best case scenario, follow us on Instagram, uspg.org. Follow us on Facebook, United States Bartenders Guild. We are out there. Just look us up. Although, side note, if you look us up on LinkedIn, I think there's 2 USPGs, so make sure you put bartender in there somewhere.
Very good.
Nice. So, Ingrid, what are the different levels of membership? And if I was coming to a typical USPG meeting for my first time, what should I expect?
So there's different, all members are the same, so to speak, but there's different types of membership. So you have your bartender membership. We also have an enthusiast category, and we have a hospitality industry adjacent or an associate category, which handles like the suppliers, people who make glassware, people who are really interested in what's going on in the bartending community. And then 2 other membership categories that we have, which are larger categories, are really vendor partnerships, where a vendor can come on and get multiple memberships for X amount of members that are part of their organization. And then something that we call Guild House. And Guild House is working directly with accounts. So for instance, let's say it was Olive Garden, and Olive Garden wanted to get all of their bartenders part of the guild. They would join Guild House, and Guild House would give them access to being able to get discounted memberships for all of their employees. It's very popular in larger areas and using a lot of chain business. But in general, if you have a bar that has 5 to 10 employees and you want them to have access to all the tools that the USPG has, that's usually the best about doing that. It's something that was created within the last 2 years, so the marketing for that is just really getting out there, and we're really getting the word out of what we're creating. But it's something that I feel can help grow us tremendously. The other important part of that is that USPG membership is attached to the individual. So for instance, if let's say Olive Garden gets 10 memberships for their employees in Pinellas Park, Florida, if an employee leaves, they still have that membership no matter where they go, and then they can choose to renew at a different time wherever they're working. So it's a good opportunity to kind of have a collaboration in the entire hospitality space of how we can all help each other. What was the
Wow.
second?
And if I'm a member of one chapter, can I go to other chapters meetings? And if so, like, how do I find out about all these events? Like this cool event you guys or we have coming up called Bar Summit.
Yes and no. So it really depends. For the most part, if you are a USBG member, there's two kinds of membership that are involved in that. There is the national membership. So everybody who's part of the USBG is part of the national organization. So they can become a member at large. A member at large just means they have access to all the tools that we have. Now, as it comes to a chapter, you can be part of multiple chapters if you wanted to, or you could just be part of one chapter. Now, if let's say you go to Nashville, and Nashville, you go online and you check out the chapter and you see what's going on in their events, because we do have a page for them to list events, and you say, oh my God, I really want to go to this. As long as it's not for Nashville chapters only, if it's for USBG chapters, you're absolutely welcome to go to everything. They may have some different things. They may have you sign a code of conduct. They may have you recognize that you're in a different area. They may ask for your email address to send you information. But for the most part, it does allow for a national and almost international way to be attending bartending events.
That's pretty amazing.
Bar Summit.
Oh, the summit. So in June, we're very excited about this. So we used to have multiple regional conferences, which was great, but very labor intensive. And we wanted to make sure that we could get something that had both a leadership quality and an educational track. Last year, for the USBG's 75th anniversary, we did one large conference that really had multiple different tracks to allow people who were attending to figure out where they wanted to go. Maybe that was a career path or DEI, or it was bartending, advanced bartending, or maybe it was just leadership. But everybody who showed up was able to go on a specific track. We were completely successful with that. And as we moved into our 76th year and as we go on to our 100th year, one of the things that we created was what we're calling the Bar Summit. And the Bar Summit this year will be in Denver. We just announced that our keynote speaker is Guy Fieri, which we're very excited about. But this summit isn't just for USBG members. It's for the bartending community. So if you aren't a USBG member, you are able to attend. There is an increased fee for that because clearly we want you to be a member. But if there's space still available, and last I checked, there's only 45 spaces left, but it's open for the entire bartending community. And in general, the USBG is very welcoming. We are welcoming to everyone who participates in the hospitality community, whether you're front of the house, back of the house, a consumer, if you're adjacent to it, if you are a supplier, if you are a producer, if you're a manufacturer, if you're a distributor. We have space for everyone because we believe that the hospitality community as a whole contains all these different elements and all this different expertise and experience. So we want you to join and we want to hear your voice. And the Bar Summit is one of the ways to get that education and be heard.
That's fantastic. It's you guys have been doing so many great things for the community and really bonding it together for over 75 years now. That's it's quite a great record. Quite a great record. And correct me if I'm wrong, but all the positions in the USBG are volunteer, correct? From the local up?
I'm going to make a little bit of a clarification here. So the USBG has two elements. So we have the volunteer side, which is going to be the leadership side, the board of directors, all the way from, so we have chapter leaders, we have a national council of chapters, which is more of a regional, and then we have the USBG national board. On the other side, we have the USBG management company. That's paid staff. Those are the people that are going to execute the events. They sign contracts. They are actually employees of the USBG. So the board of directors are technically their bosses, and we direct them to do the work that we're looking for. So it's kind of people get confused between the two. So for instance, Aaron Gregory Smith, who has done an incredible job as our executive director, he handles the management staff, and I, as the president, I'm also called the board chair, and I handle the volunteer portion of the organization.
Gotcha. And there's just a handful of people on the staff, right?
Yeah, we have a small staff. We try to keep that as streamlined as possible. They are executing at an extraordinarily high rate of return for
Right.
us. But we do want to make sure, because the money comes from membership and the money comes from partnerships, we want to make sure that we are utilizing our membership funds in the best and most appropriate way possible. Like, our fiduciary responsibility is to ensure that programming is being done for members as opposed to just having frivolous employees.
Right, right. Well, that's pretty fantastic. I love that insight. Thank you very much. If I'm a member and I want to move up through the ranks, how do I do some of that?
Couple of ways. One of the easiest ways to move up through the ranks is obviously to be a chapter leader. And there are multiple layers to being a chapter leader. There is an elected leader. So every year you can sign up and become an elected board member. Depending on the size of your chapter, that's either one person or 3 people a year. From there, once you're a board director, each one of the boards individually choose their officers. So every year, let's say you have 6 board members on the chapter level. Those 6 board members choose who's going to be president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. That's rule number 1. Or you can have a board that says, we need someone to help with a membership chair. And you can come in and be a chairperson as to augment the board and help them out. Either which way, it's really getting yourself out there and talking about what you want to do, visualizing where you see your chapter. Then after that, after you've served on a board, you can join the National Council of Chapters. And then from there is when we normally look at people to join the actual board of directors at the national level. However, as long as you've served 1 year on a chapter board, you're more than welcome to nominate yourself to the national board. We love new ideas. We love people who come in and are gung-ho. In all fairness, we want people to try to break it to make sure it still works. One of the things that our board is doing this year is we're going through all of our policies and procedures, and we're legitimately soft opening all of them. We are crash coursing every single policy, every single thing that we do, because for the next 25 years, we want to make sure that what we've put in place will survive. And if it doesn't, let's break it, let's fix it, and let's move forward.
I love that. And one of my favorite groups that the USBG has is, and I'm trying to say this in the most political way as possible.
FSU?
Yes. Do you want to explain what that committee is all about?
I will do it in the best way possible. The FSU committee is the funk shite up committee. But what it really is we want to make sure that what we're doing is speaking to our members. So it is a group of members and non-members, actually, people who have a very strong opinion of the USBG, good or bad, that we run through our policies with. That when we're coming up with a new idea or we're coming up with a new partner or we're doing anything, we say to them, hey, we've come up with this. We want your eyes on this because you're the ones who are going to be the most vocal about this if we mess up. And the committee, luckily, has consisted of a ton of great people. We cannot disclose who they are. It changes all the time. The board members are not on it specifically so that people can feel open to talk and not feel like there'll be any repercussions or any ramifications. We have every type of membership as well. So you have suppliers, you have distributors, you have everybody that's invested in becoming a better Bartenders Guild. And it does not get cleared by the board until it's been run through. We call it like the car wash. If there's something to do, how can we make sure that the verbiage is right, that we're handling all those things? Something very important in the Bartenders Guild, which is happening globally, but DE&I is very important, and we want to make sure that our language is very open. We want to make sure that we're very welcoming, while still holding to our governance model. So that world that we sit in is very delicate. How do you come up with guidelines and mandates while still being nice enough to be flexible? What they do. But yeah, it's a great committee. You cannot just be on that committee. You have to say that you want to be, and then you get invited to be that part of that committee.
It was very forward-thinking in a way to keep holding themselves accountable, which I love. If you're watching live right now, put in the comments, put a queue for questions. We can drag your question on and bring it on the screen and ask Ingrid some questions. But Ingrid, you recently joined us in Rome, Italy, as one of the benefits of being a USBG member for the IBA, the International Bartender Association World Cocktail Championships.
where some of the world's best bartenders were competing in classic mixology, they were competing in flair, and it was basically the Olympics of bartending. Question for you is, what were your thoughts going into it, and then what were your thoughts after you were there?
Going into it, I didn't really have any thoughts. I was very excited to be representing the U.S. as part of our delegation team. I was very happy to go see our winners from Shake It Up, which, if I'm correct, is coming up this week. I'm excited for those people. I really went with an open mind. I wanted to see how it was handled by other countries. We internally have our IBA committee, we have a liaison, and we do our stuff in the US, but it's handled very differently in other countries and internationally. I was flabbergasted. I was absolutely enthralled with the way that this competition was hosted and held. I could see all the potential. And coming into this, I went as the treasurer of the USBG. I also happened to go with the president and the vice president at the time. And we got together and realized this is a massive opportunity for our members to really not only just represent the USBG and represent the US, but represent themselves on an international scale. It was 600 people, 68 different countries. And at the end of it, everybody was just so friendly and wanting to learn from each other. At the evening party, after everything was said and done, and of course everyone's letting off some steam, it was amazing to talk to the other competitors and people from the other countries and realize how big bartending is throughout the world and how important it is to them and how much value and pride they had in representing their countries. And the other thing was they were all so helpful. Everybody who competed with each other shared their experiences and shared the wins and the losses and really said, oh, well, you could do this better or try this next time, so that the people that are competing can still try to compete again and be better. The flair competition was hilarious. I absolutely had the best time at the flair. And then the classic competition, watching the perfectionism that occurred and how much everyone took the time to make the perfect cocktail was enlightening to me. Plus, we had our flag, so we got to be like, USA,
Yes.
Only thing I don't like is they made me wear a suit.
From how my first experience was like I related to like when I first came to my first USBG meeting, like this is kind of cool. Like there's some like-minded people around. Like, all right, cool, let's network, let's exchange numbers. I want to come to your bar, you come see me. And then you go to a regional conference. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, like other states. And then you go to the the national conference. But when you go to the IBA World Cocktail Championship, it's just mind blowing. Like it's like this, and your world gets blown up to like this, and you're networking and the exchange of ideas. It is amazing. Ingrid, with all these opportunities with the USBG and competing, and I think we send people all over the world for doing like an online registration and then be able to go world or doing an in-person qualifier. But I feel like the message isn't out there of what the really benefits are. That's why I love that we're talking about the IBA stuff right now. But how, in your opinion, can competitors score better in competitions now in hopes of maybe going to these and traveling these events?
Good question.
How can they score better? It's going to require a little bit more practice. So we in the United States do not follow the IBA rules primarily in our competitions. And for the people that I know that have been in, like, for instance, we have World Class, and World Class is a fantastic competition, and it holds our bartenders to a higher standard, but that standard is still not IBA. So there's an intimidation factor that our bartenders have for IBA. And I know you've done a ton of competitions. When it's your first or second competition, you're very, very nervous. What it's going to take is really more competitions. It's going to take more practice on what those IBA rules to get them to be more comfortable in that space. But not just that. I would love to see more bartenders going. Like this year, the World Cocktail Competition is going to be in Portugal. The other one is Pan American Games that we also sponsor as the U.S. delegate. That's going to be in Panama this year. I would like to see more members just going and supporting our members to see what this is like. At the end of the day, if you're still the last competitor at the World Cocktail Competition, you are still in an elite group of people that are representing their country. Like, it is not just hey, I lost. It's I lost on the world stage with
Yeah.
68 countries. Like, I'm one of 68 people. Like, that is not that is a feat within itself. And to be able to say that you've done that, and also I know that bartenders love to have guest shifts. In this case, you're going to meet guests from all over the world. You'll be able to pop up in Spain and Lisbon, and I just when I went, I was so amazed at the opportunity that we would have, even if they're not competing. Just to be there was fabulous. And I will say this, and Rob, you were there. The U.S. had about 5 or 6 people there. Puerto Rico brought 15 people.
They do it right. And
If
I gotta
Puerto
say
Rico
this.
can bring 15 people, the U.S. can also. I mean, obviously, we counted them as part of us, and we cheered them on, and we were so proud of
Right.
them. We also took on Hong Kong. Hong Kong joined our group as well because we were cheering on everyone that we could. So the more people that we can get, and the more people that understand that it's really not that expensive in the long run, and it's a week in like Portugal or Pan America or
Right.
wherever. I think it's a conversation that we have to have. Obviously, one of the reasons that we didn't talk about it for a really long time so loudly was the USBG was concentrating on recreating itself. And for the
Okay.
last few years, from about 2013 to 2023, as we were approaching our 75th anniversary, we had to do a lot of soul searching as the USBG, and we needed to figure out what we were going to come from this. 2016-17 was the high point of being a USBG member. We had a massive explosion of members. We had a massive explosion of activities and different things. But as an organization, we were not able to grow. Our policies, everything that we had was really exploding. So for the last 5 years, we've spent the time to build that infrastructure that we can now focus on things that are outside of that governance and outside of that small amount of infrastructure that we needed to create. Now let's focus the bar. We have stuff coming up. We have like this academy that we're thinking about, like really kind of influencing and giving to bartenders and giving to our members different ideas. We are becoming what like the middle of a wheel where everything spokes off of us. We want to be
Cool.
that connector. We want to be that networker. We want people to come to us and be able to guide them towards what they want to be doing, whether that be a sommelier or a cicerone or someone who wants to be a spirit professional or a bar manager. Maybe it's a POS system, maybe it's technology. But what we're trying to do is really create a space for everyone in hospitality to then branch out from there and find what's good for them.
That's pretty exciting. I love how you're pulling in the POS systems and all of the other support, the companies that you don't think about when you go into a restaurant. How many companies are supporting the restaurant industry? Give us a little insight then on, you're the brand new president. What cool, creative, groundbreaking ideas are you bringing forward that we're going to see in the USBG in the not too near distant future?
They brought me in for my very specific skill set of governance. We have some big changes coming up in the USBG. Aaron Gregory Smith, our executive director, he has been part of our organization since our inception of a management company. So he's been doing this role for 10 years. I've been brought on board because we are now seeking out a new executive director. This executive director will be the person that brings us forward for the next 3 to 5 years. And in
Okay.
that conversation is revenue generating. It's fundraising. It's creating a chapter experience that every chapter member can feel no matter where they are in the US. It's augmenting the face of the USBG nationally and internationally. It's also reaching into an advocacy space and finding something that helps all of our members. Like when we talk advocacy, we're looking for something that betters the life of bartenders from back of the house to front of the house to whatever we're doing. Like, how do we elevate the hospitality community? So me personally, my goal is to find a new executive director, but also work on these structures that we have. It was my idea to blow up the policies and procedures and really find out if it's going to move us forward, as opposed to maybe it's something that we don't need anymore. Maybe we're just doing it because we've always done it and it's time to make a bigger change. You'll start seeing some of this coming along as the board of directors makes decisions moving forward. Has to do with partnerships, has to do with educational outputs, tales of the cocktail. Everything that we're doing is kind of changing things up.
It sounds like a pretty big position. What does my resume need to look like in order to take on the that position of Aaron Gregory Smith?
To become the ED. We have a lot of things. Like we want someone who's been in a senior or executive managerial role, possibly somebody
Okay.
who's already served in the capacity as an executive director or a vice president, or someone who's led
Inside the USPG or with other companies or
other companies. We are looking
yeah.
outside of the USBG as much as possible. We want new voices coming in. And an
Gotcha.
executive director, it would be wonderful if they had hospitality experience. But what we're really looking for is someone who has organizational experience and administrative experience. Because the executive director for us isn't someone who has to be part of hospitality. They have to understand it, but they have to be able to guide us into bigger spaces. They have to be able to understand government models. They have to understand organizational models. And then most importantly, chapters. So one of the things that is not so common in the organizational and community association space is having individual chapters in different states, in different communities. So having an executive director that knows how to pull that all together is going to be difficult to find, but we're excited, super excited. Plus we're learning that so many people are hospitality adjacent. Maybe they were bartenders in college and then they went off to become a bachelor's or master's, and they're excited to be part of us. But it's also frightening. We are a very unique niche group of people. There are definitely conversations. We drink at all of our events. We have lots of fun. Clearly, cannabis is becoming part of our space as well. So we have to find a person comfortable in that space and comfortable moving away from maybe the norms that they had in construction, where I come from, and moving into a space where it's, hey, you know what? You're going to have to deal with DUIs. You're going to have to deal with people that are drinking at events. You're going to have to deal with personal issues that occur at events. It's a different space. So a lot of people may not be up to that challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of world. Absolutely. Going from some corporate jobs. So maybe there's a great general manager out there of some restaurant chain or something, or who knows? It sounds like it's a very specific person. It could take some time to track that one down.
Kyle McHugh. You have to like bartenders.
What did you say, Rob, under your breath?
I said my vote's Kyle McHugh. Unless, I mean, that's just first instinct I'm throwing out there. Unless Dean Serneels wanted to step up.
Oh, no, I do not have such skills. No,
We are currently working on the job description. We have a search committee. They're going to be convening. They're going to come up with the job description. We will be putting it out to the general populace soon. I'm sure as soon as it goes out, we're going to have a ton of people apply. At any given time, the constituency for the USBG lies between about 2,000 and 6,000 people, with the aptitude of becoming tens of thousands just because of our outreach in hospitality. So my goal, and something I would love to see before I step out of this role, whether that's this year or next year, I can only serve 2 years as president. Once I move out of that role, I would love to see us at 7,500 to 10,000 members. I think that's something that we can do if we create the educational opportunities and actually start standardizing. I'll give you an example, like standardization. I can walk into a bar and ask them what their neat pour is, and it's anywhere between 1 ounce and 2 ounces. I think there needs to be some standardization so there's an understanding of who we're doing, what pour cost is, why we're doing that. You know, we have, if you guys ever get your hands on it, we have this amazing documentary we made for the USBG that we showcased at our anniversary. It tells the story of who we are and why we are. And you have to imagine that when the USBG started over 76 years ago, women were not permitted to be bartenders. So there is this an idea of growth, and the USBG has moved with it over the years. But one of the things that I've always said, like we were trying to come up with our avatar, and it's difficult to figure out what a bartender or what the USBG member looks like. So I said, we're the napkin. We're the first thing that you see when you walk into a restaurant. When someone notices you, when someone says hello, the first thing that everyone does is put down a napkin. And that's who we are. We are that welcoming space, allowing you and entering you into our domain and serving you. And that's who we are.
Right. I always called it the being the safari guide. When someone walks in, being able to show you, here's the great spirits, here's the not so great spirits, here's the cocktails, here's the food, and and being able to give someone the entire show of everything that we have that you probably don't have at home. And that's why
Probably
you
not.
come up to hang out and introduce people to each other. We are going to jump into some Patreon a little bit later as well. I'm hoping that you can join us over there for one more drink with.
Probably.
Awesome.
I'm
Thank
just
you very
hanging with
much.
my cat right now.
That's my favorite whole thing
Really
about
already-
all
we're
this
already
is
in it.
on One More Drink With, like I can't wait till everyone starts watching this. Like we just like have a drink, like loosen the ties, and just have so much real talk. On the last episode we did with Phil Raimondo was just like groundbreaking. I'm so happy that was on tape. Like all that advice and all that knowledge to pass on to, like, I wish I learned this 20 years ago is just
Love
amazing.
Phil. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have seen, and I don't know what you're going to cut or add, but I've been doing a Women in Whiskey series for the entire month of March. This is the third year I'm doing it, but this year I just have so many more women to add to the collection. And every single day that I post, I get more people that are just asking me like, hey, Ingrid, do you know about this? Like, connect me, and what are we doing? And the best thing about what I'm doing and being part of the USBG is the amount of connections that you get worldwide now.
Right.
And I think the opportunities are there. What it requires, though, is a little bit of work on people's end. And that's kind of where we're meeting that. How do we make this accessible without making it overly like difficult to get to? And I'm old, I admit it. But I come from a world where more than 3 clicks, nobody's paying attention anymore. But that 3
Right.
clicks is now like 2 clicks. So how do we capture your attention in 2 clicks to get done with what we need to do?
Please put together a list so we can put it in the comments below of all the different contacts for your Women in Whiskey, and where can we see the documentary you talked about?
I'm going to find out about that. We have it. We are trying to create it on a production level. The thought process is to do a tour around the U.S. And actually rent out theaters and showcase it for bartenders, kind of like Hey Bartender did a few years ago.
Right.
Once that's done, we also just officially released Liquid Legacy, which is part of the USBG as well. That can be available. That's on Amazon. And Liquid Legacy talks about the USBG, and it talks about our old school members and how they really thought about this concept and how we move forward. What we're doing is really creating a historical context for who and what we are and why it matters. Having gone to WCC and noticing how bartending is a career path and it's treated and elevated to a moment where people are super, like, we went to see the Pope. We got called out by the Pope. They said, congratulations. Mind you, a circus broke out, but it was funny. They came out to a second line, and Cole was there from New Orleans, and Cole's like, I left New Orleans and came back to New Orleans and Rome. But yeah, but we got blessed by the Pope for being bartenders and participating in this competition. That's how
I'm getting
important.
more out of that on the Patreon on One More Drink With. I want to know this whole Pope story.
I'll text you guys the video in all fairness. It was fantastic. And I know that Portugal is going to do an incredible job as well. We are hoping to bring WCC to the US in 26 and 27. We're going to start with the Pan American Games and then hopefully move into the WCC. They have asked us to do it. We have done it before. We are just trying to find a location. I love throwing conferences, as you can imagine from Repeal Day. So as I move out from president, I might be moving into conference chair. Who knows?
Hey, that would be great. We know how to live stream it on Cocktail Network Live, so we can bring all those events to all the bartenders watching from their phones.
Fantastic.
That'd be great.
Cool, Dean. I'm
Rob,
almost
take
my
us
drink.
into-
How about you, buddy?
Take us into our final sip there, Robbie.
All right. So for the final sip, what I'm getting from all this is there is so much opportunity out there that bartending can be a real job, but you got to take the effort and the gumption and know where to look to find out about all these opportunities and find out all about these events. USBG is one doorway to finding out about these events. There's so much stuff happening. The networking is amazing. If anything, start there, and then you'll start to see all these other paths open up from there. But the value of USBG, I can say, since I've been a member since 2013, going on over 10 years now, well worth it, and it's opened up some doors for me as well. Dean?
Cool. Well, before I say my final sip, Ingrid, thank you very much for your dedication to the community for so long, to your support of all the bartenders out there with Whistle Pig and your education there, and or your educational team there, I guess, and all your work with the USBG. Thank you very much for just supporting these bartenders. We know you're doing it for free and just for the love of doing it. So thank you very much for doing that. That was one of my first things, and that gets me into my final sip. One of my first realizations when I was a young bartender was I just want to share this amazing career with so many people. And I got into teaching flair and all that kind of stuff. And that led me to the flair bartending competitions in Florida. And my final sip is about, Ingrid, you were talking about the camaraderie of the bartenders at the USBG event. It didn't matter whether you came first or last. As long as you stepped on that stage, you became part of that elite. And everybody else was sharing with each other, saying, hey, you could have done this. Hey, you could have done that. How could I do better? And having other bartenders mentor you along the way. It's exactly the same thing that has happened in Flair along the way. People will be sharing moves and teaching each other how to be better on stage. So thank you for showcasing that all bartending competitions, whether it's mixology or Flair or otherwise, are about the camaraderie of bartending. And being a spectator is one thing, but when you become a competitor at a bartending competition, it puts you in an elite category. And I encourage everyone to get into and sign up for a bartending competition, whether you think you're going to win or lose. Just get on that stage. It's about the journey. It's not about the victories.
Agreed. Ooh, my turn.
Yay!
So my final note, my final sip. Well, first of all, Limavady, is that take a risk. I would like to encourage all of the people that are listening and all the people that are going to hear this, take a risk. Worst case scenario, you come in last, but you're still last of an elite group, and you're still going to learn from that. And you're going to meet people who are going to make you better people. My joy of being part of the USBG and what we're doing is creating new elements and new avenues for people to excel at just being who they are. Be authentic, learn what you want to learn, and then share that information with everyone. Like, be the small fish in a big pond and learn as much as you can and give back to your community. So hopefully I have done that, and hopefully I will continue to do that. And I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be your leader for the next year, maybe 2 years. And just really embracing me as an enthusiast to a point now where I am embedded in the livelihood of what the USBG stands for. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time. And I will absolutely stay on and talk more stuff that I can legally talk about. Cheers.
Very good. Ingrid, thank you very much for joining us on One Drink With. We're going to see you for one more drink with. And again, thank you very much for being on the show now twice. You're a two-timer.
Thank you.
An elite group. There's only been a couple that's been on twice.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have you on again. Cool. Stick around. We'll see you.
Dean, speaking of guests coming on, who do we have next week?
Well, let's take a look here and ta-da! Manny Picone is going to join us next week. We're going to talk flair and mixology, getting involved in competitions. Manny will actually also be able to share with us what it's like to be an anchor on Cocktail Network Live, as he's doing that on Wednesday with us at the USBG competition. So can't wait to have Manny on the show. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, and Manny Picone is also, like we talked about earlier, representing the United States with the USBG in the IBA Pan American Games for Flair. So he is literally representing Team USA in Flair in one of these competitions. So we teased you with it, but he's going to give more of an insight of how he's literally preparing for it almost every day, how many hours he's spending on it. He sent me videos, he sent me pictures, but
wow,
good stuff in store.
Is that in Portugal? Is that the Portugal?
That is Panama. Portugal is WCC, okay. World Cocktail Championship. Panama is the IBA Pan American Games this year.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow, that's fantastic. What a great insight we're going to get on how to prepare for a bartending competition.
100%.
Very cool.
Last words before you move on to one more drink with.
Yeah, one more drink with. I'm looking forward to it. What a fabulous drink that was. Thanks to Finest Call and Proper 12 today. Thanks, Rob. Great new digs there. You're going to be back in the studio next week, or?
Next week, yes, Monday. I will be back in the normal Cocktail Network Live Studio A.
Studio A. I'm not sure where I'm going to be next. I think I'm here next week, but the week after that, where I'm at. My schedule's getting pretty crazy, so looking forward to it.
Tease. The week after that, do you want to do a little tease of who our guest is after Manny Pacone?
Oh, I can. I'm excited. I have my drink all ready to go. I have the bubblegum Negroni. It's a Negroni that tastes just like bubblegum. It's so delicious. It's already going on cocktail menus in some national accounts. So maybe I'll have some more insight on that. Tony Abou-Ganim will be joining us on April 1st, and that's no joke.
Right? It's so funny that it's on April 1st. Like, people are like,
right.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's going to be my little bald cousin instead. No. Tony Abou-Ganim will actually be live with us on April 1st. So that's super exciting. He seems pretty excited to join us. So, yeah. Robbie?
And then after that, we have the Flair Judge, POV. You see him on Instagram. He's all over the world. He's always at the IBA World Cocktail Championships. And some great insight on being a Flair Judge and sharing his perspective from not only judging Flair competitions, but bartending competitions in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been following his YouTube or his Instagram. And I think it's imperative for us to have him on this show because it's just talking about the judge's point of view. And I mean, gosh, it's always a point of contention when a bartender gets off stage. I thought I did better than that. And for the judge to have their notes ready and to be able to speak eloquently and be clever about the responses, we're going to get all that insight from Judge POV. Yeah.
Good stuff coming up, buddy. So without that, I'm about to make another cocktail. Joe, Great job as usual. We appreciate all your hard efforts. And then again, guys, don't forget, if you like this show, but you want to consume it a little differently, maybe you're driving, maybe you're working out, you can go on iTunes, you can go on any of your favorite podcasts and listen to us audibly on all those past seasons as well.
Awesome. And join us on Wednesday. We're going live with the USBG competition. Rob will be hosting it, and I'll be in the background somewhere. So don't forget to check us out, Cocktail Network Live, here on the .com and YouTube on Wednesday for an extra special broadcast from Las Vegas. That's all I got tonight. We'll see you guys later. All right. Thank you.